Now, I realize that everyone has a top 10 list of boats that they think are the best for blue water cruising. It would be easy to pick our 10 favorite boats and introduce you to them. But that got me thinking, if we had actual real world data to show you what top 10 boats people are actually using for blue water sailing in real life, we'd much rather show you that. And to get that data, I know just the place. I was talking to a room full of sailors yesterday, and we got to talking about the different kinds of boats for different kinds of people. We all seem to agree that sailors tend to fit into one of three different camps. The first are the dock queens, the boats that go out a couple of times a year, but largely it serves as a cottage. Nothing wrong with that. Boats make great cottages. Then there's the lake and coastal sailor camp. They either sail their home lake or down the coast and make a trip here and there to the San Juans or the Bahamas. And lastly, the ocean passage sailor who makes ocean miles like it's a regular pastime. But we got to talking and realized that there is sort of a middle ground. A sailor who tends to be coastal wants to do the Caribbean and coastal work, but one day could want to make an ocean jump, maybe to the Med. Which boat would you have that person buy? Something very good at being a liveaboard cruising boat, but with the sailing pedigree to make an ocean passage someday if it had to. We bickered about which boats would be best for that, and then we realized there is a source of data to answer that question. Which boat do you buy for the liveaboard cruiser with the option of an ocean passage? And that data? The Ark Rally. We did an episode on the Ark Rally, which you can watch to understand all the details, but suffice it to say, it's a rally of boats that get together to make an ocean passage. And the Ark happens to provide us, for free, a list of boats that do the rally every year. So I started compiling. I went from 2020 to 2025, 5 years of Ark Rally data, and dropped it in Excel to sort it and maneuver it, and came out with a list of every monohull that entered the Europe to Caribbean Ark for the last 5 years. This is interesting data because it shows us exactly which boats made the Ark, how many of each, and who finished fastest or slowest, when who didn't finish at all. You can also download the data from the Ark website and do this for catamarans or trimarans or the racing division to see the fast boats. Let's start with some fun stats. The most used boat in the Ark for the last 5 years. That's actually a three-way tie for number one, with 10 passages, the Clipper 60. These were built for the Clipper Round the World race back in the late 90s, and it's nice to see them still out there doing what they do best. Next, tied for first with 10 Arks, a Bavaria. We don't see enough of these stateside, but they are basically everywhere in Europe. This is the Cruiser 51. I think you'd call this the most used cruising boat in the Ark for the last 5 years. They started building the Bavaria 51 in 1999, and you can pick these up for about 250 grand, but if you want to buy one, you'll likely have to go to Europe to get it. They rarely show up for sale in the US because they aren't built in the US. And the third boat tied for first with 10 Arks is a Beneteau. We knew we'd see a lot of these on the Ark. This is the first 47.7, a Bruce Farr boat, and when it has his name on it, you know it's going to be fast. They started these in 2000, and for nearly 50-footer to weigh 25,000 pounds, it's got Farr DNA. These are cheaper, showing up now stateside for under 200 grand. And if you want all the cruising comfort Beneteau gives you, but you still want to spank every other sailboat you see on your travels, this is the boat for you. I love a fast cruiser, so this is just the ticket for me. In second place with 9 Arks, the Oyster 56. They started building these luxury world cruisers in '96. At 60,000 pounds, these world travelers show up for sale in the $500,000 to $1 million range, and would certainly be a comfortable way to see the world if you have that kind of cash. In third place, a boat that we all know and love as the Delos. It's so great to see so many of these still active. The Amel Super Maramoo with 8 Arks. These are getting old now and coming from the 90s, but that means they're also getting cheaper. We used to see them for $500,000, but now they show up for around 200 grand. They'll need more work now, but talk about a proven world traveler. Now, let's break this list of ARC boats down into something a little more useful for us. Sort it by LOA, and we can look at the most popular boats by size. And starting at sort of the top, the most arced boat in the 50-foot range. Obviously that Bavaria 51 and the Super Marimu and the Oyster 56, but also with 7 arcs, the Gypsy 51. These were called the most spacious cruising boat for their size, and while they can be hard to find, they sell for about 200 grand. Jeanneau makes an appearance on this list in the 50-foot range with 6 arcs on the Sun Odyssey 519. You'll find these $200,000 boats for sale in the Caribbean off charter or sort of scattered around the world from private ownership. This is a very common cruising boat for the islands and provides a lot of space and comfort for a cruising family. Another popular choice in the 50-foot range is the Grand Soleil 50 with 6 arcs, the Halbergrazi 54 with 5 arcs, and the Dufour 56 with 4 arcs. Jumping for the 45-foot and up range, we get some more affordable boats. One of my personal favorites, the Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 45-2. These are super value for the money, coming in below $200,000 as they get a bit older, but you can find them in the US in various stages of upgrade and refit. They're shallow draft, ICW friendly, and very spacious, giving you the ability to sail just about anywhere you want to go and staying small enough to be handled by a couple. Also a big hit in this size range is the Beneteau Clipper 473. You can get a 473 all day long for under 200 grand, and they can be found in the US. Here's one in Titusville. Twin helm, white upholstery on deep wood. These 473s are just very good at everything they do and aren't top dollar anymore, so a lot more accessible. And of course the most popular category, and likely the one you've been waiting for, the 40-footers. With 6 arcs, we have the mighty Halbergrazi 44. This is a dream boat. These are newer 2016 and up and designed by the legendary German Frères, coming in at a sea kindly 30,000 pounds, showing up for sale at a whopping $1 million. These are top tier world cruisers if you want to keep the LOA below 45. On the cheaper end with 5 arcs, the Bavaria 44. These are the other end of the spectrum, showing up for just 100 grand. They're all 20 plus years old now and likely due for sails and standing rigging, but seeing them still doing the arc at this age is pretty cool. Another European boat, the Hansa 411 or the Hansa 445, each with 3 arcs respectively. Hansa is German and rarely shows up for sale in the US, but if you want one, you can usually find them in the Med or the Caribbean. And of course, Beneteau comes in this range with the Oceanus 43. These are from the late 2000s, showing up for sale for under 200 grand and offering you all the twin helm goodness of a newer Benny with the interior to bring your whole family cruising with you. Usually a 3-cabin with the galley down one side, which isn't designed necessarily for ocean passages, but for live-aboard comfort. So it's really nice to see them actually making arc rallies from time to time. So what does all this data tell us about boats that do the arc? Well, some interesting stuff. Well, the right boat for the ocean and making big miles in the big ocean is a heavy full keeler built to withstand anything. But the boats people are actually using tend to lean more production style, a lot of Beneteaus and Jeanneaus and Hansas. So if you're the kind of sailor who fancies themselves coastal and Caribbean, but wants to keep their options open just in case someday you might want to hop across an ocean or two, it's nice to see that people are using production boats to get that job done. And the next time your dock neighbor tells you that your Benny 43 has no business crossing the ocean, you can point them at the Arc Rally because she's already done it. What do you guys think? What is the best boat for somebody who's coastal or lake sailing, but someday might want to take that boat across an ocean? Let us know in the comments. And while you're making ocean miles, you should definitely check out this article we just posted called Not Falling Off, a Guide. We spent a lot of time talking about PFDs and man overboard procedures and jacklines and tethers. But those are all safety measures intended to help when the primary old school directive has failed. One hand for the ship, one hand for yourself. It's far better not to fall off in the first place. This is a great read for anybody heading to sea. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Hit the thumbs up if you like sailboats, and don't forget to subscribe so I can see you again next time.